Hello everybody, welcome back to Tom Reads Things. My name's Tom, hope you're all very well. Harry's here with me again today. Look at him. You gonna come up? Here he is. You gonna ask me a question? Look at him. My best friend. So yes, I hope you're all very well. Today, I thought I would do my Q&A video. So I said last time on my last video that I wanted to do a Q&A. It's been something I've been wanting to do for ages, but I haven't really got round to it. So today I'm doing my Q&A video. Sorry, Harry is just being ridiculously cute, rolling around on the floor. I wish I could show him to you. What are you doing? Are you a good boy? Oh, such a good boy. I love him so much. So, yes, I'm going to do my Q&A video today. So, without further ado, shall we begin? So, on the theme of my dogs, Cheryl L would like to know more about the dogs, their names, ages, when I adopted them, etc. So, Harry, who you just saw, is my Golden Labrador cross Golden Retriever. He is 6 years old. And I have a Blue Roan English Cocker Spaniel called Sally, and she is 4 years old. Harry, we used to live about an hour's drive away from where we live now. And weirdly, we got Harry from where we live now, which is very strange. And we got Sally from a place in Lincolnshire. So yeah, Harry's 6, Sally is 4. So yeah. They're my world, love them, my best friends, although Sally hates me. It's a well-known fact that she is the spawn of Satan and really doesn't like me at all. Thanks, Sally. The next question is from the lovely Charlie at Charlie Brook, and she asks, what got you into classics and what was the first classic you read? So the first classic I read was The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde by Robert Louis Stevenson. I read this years and years and years ago. So it wasn't really what got me into classics, although it was the first classic that I read. What really got me into classics was Katie's channel over at Books and Things. So I've always had a love of history, and I kind of wanted to learn more about certain periods in history through literature. So I decided to have a quick search on YouTube for sort of classics, classic recommendations, where a good place to start with classics would be. And I came across Katie's channel. That's the first channel that I came across, and I watched so many of her videos, and really that is what got me into classics was Katie's channel. So thanks, Katie. But really the first classic that I read, which really spurred me on to read more, was obviously the wonderful Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. I read this super quick. It was just enthralled me, and I absolutely loved it. So yeah, Jane Eyre really is the classic book that got me into reading more classics. But in terms of what really got me into it, it was Katie's channel at Books and Things. So yeah, if you haven't checked out any of her videos on classics, do. I'll link her channel down below. They're all well worth a watch. Next question. Flipping Pages asks, what is your job? So I work for a department of the University of Cambridge. I work in operations. I head up an operations team there in the kind of examinations area. Go to a lot of meetings, think a lot, write a lot of emails, talk on the phone or on Skype. Yeah, that's what I do, work in operations. So what I like about operations is you have a real chance to kind of affect change. So a big part of what I do is kind of business change and changing the way that we kind of deliver our products. So yeah, I really like that part of my job. However, it is incredibly stressful at times. It's a Saturday, so I don't want to dwell too much on my job. Next question. The lovely Emily over at Novo Novels, hi Emily, asks, what is your favourite era in history to read about? So I have 3 periods in history that I really like to read about, and that is the Tudor period. I also like to read about the Georgian period, and I really like to read about, obviously, the Victorian period with some of the classics that I read. I think I love, it depends, because I can, depending on what mood I'm in, will influence what kind of period of history that I want to read about. So as anyone will know who's been watching this channel for a while, I absolutely love classics and historical fiction. That's really kind of my bag that I've sort of found out since I started Booktube that I really, really like. But yeah, at the moment, I'm really enjoying reading about kind of late 18th century Georgian period. Love it. Emily also asks, what is your favourite book this year? Emily also asks, who inspired you to join Booktube? So really there were 3 people who inspired me to join Booktube. Katie from Books and Things. I absolutely love her channel. I love the content. I love the books that she talks about. We have very similar reading tastes. So yeah, she was the first booktuber that I found on Booktube and absolutely love her channel. So yeah, she inspired me to join Booktube. Also, I really got into Lauren's channel from Lauren in the Books. I'll link her channel down below. She's really funny and she's got a great sense of humour. She is very enthusiastic about the books that she reads, and she does lots of other bits and pieces as well. And the last, but by certainly no means least, is Simon at Savage Reads. So Simon's channel is, we all know Simon's channel is bloody brilliant, and congratulations on hitting 17k, by the way, Simon. The way Simon talks about books is just bloody brilliant, really. I get all of my book recommendations from Simon as well. So basically, if you watch Simon's channel, you'll just see the same books repeated on my channel about 2 months later. Sorry, Simon. So yeah, he's got a great reading taste, obviously, a very wide reading taste. He has loads of different kinds of videos. So he obviously does hauls, he does wrap-ups, but he also does sort of interviews with authors, but he does it in a really cool, exciting way. So he did a video recently with Connie Huck, which was absolutely bloody brilliant. He did a science quiz with her, and I thought that was excellent. Such a good idea. So yeah, Simon's channel also really inspired me to join Booktube, and I think I'm going to start a petition for Simon's mum to have her own Booktube channel as well. So if you haven't seen the videos with Simon and his mum, they are bloody brilliant. So Hannah Hart, who I believe is my sister, asked, what countries have you been to and what are your favourite movies / series, etc. So what countries have I been to? Do I have to list them? Okay, so I've been to France, Spain, Czech Republic, North America, Italy, Cyprus, Greece, Russia. Have I not been anywhere else? I must have been somewhere else. That's crazy. I can't have only been to those, but Portugal. I think that might be it, you know. I think that's all the only places I've been to. But in terms of what my favourite countries were, I love Italy, absolutely love Italy. And weirdly enough, I love, well, I don't know if it's weirdly enough or not, but I absolutely love Russia. I have a real interest in Russia, the Russian language. Здравствуйте for anyone who's watching from Russia. Probably won't be. Yeah, I absolutely love Russia and Russian sort of food and culture and things like that. So yeah, really, really like Russia. In terms of my favourite movies or series, I really like watching historical series. My favourite movie at the moment, which I've spoken about quite a lot on this channel, is a film called To Walk Invisible, which is about the life of the Bronte sisters and Bronte family. It's bloody brilliant. It's on Amazon Prime. If you get a chance, do watch it. It's really gritty and authentic, and you know, Yorkshire in the 19th century was actually quite a dangerous place to live in terms of the kind of living conditions and the amount of illness that was going around at that time. So life expectancy wasn't huge, wasn't very long in the village of Haworth where the Brontes grew up. So it kind of really, it doesn't glamorize the Brontes' life at all. It's very, I feel it's very true to what it must have been like. So yeah, do give that a watch. In terms of my favourite series, I bloody love a comedy. So I love Will and Grace. I actually wrote my dissertation at university partly on Will and Grace. I love Parks and Recreation. If you haven't watched that, do give it a watch. It's so funny. It's Amy Poehler from Saturday Night Live. She's bloody brilliant. What else do I love? I'm really enjoying In the Thick of It at the moment. I've just started watching that, and that's really funny. It's kind of political satire, British political satire, so that's really good. But I don't really have much time to watch TV and stuff like that because I'm reading, trying to fit in my reading all the time. One thing I absolutely love is watching documentaries about, especially about Victorian and Georgian London. Dr. Lucy Worsley whoop, whoop, does loads of documentaries about that kind of thing, and I can binge watch those in the bath on a Sunday night till my heart's content. Love it, love it, love it. Next question. Angelique asks, how long have you been vegan? What are your favourite vegan meals or ingredients to cook with? So how long have I been vegan? 2014. Coming up for 5 years, I think, or maybe just over 5 years. In terms of what my favourite vegan meals are, I love a chip butty. Anything with bread, anything with chips. I love crisps. I love pasta. I love rice. I love anything like ridiculously carby, which probably isn't great, but who cares? Love it. I really enjoy stuff made by Deliciously Ella. I think she's got a really good mix of recipes. And yeah, she's not afraid to use any kind of macronutrient in her cooking, which so many cooks are all the time now. You just see these people who are like, you must eat low carb, or you must eat low fat, or you must eat low protein. Just eat what you bloody want. As long as you have a good mixed diet, it doesn't matter, does it? As long as you're enjoying your food, who bloody cares? But in terms of my favourite ingredients to cook with, it's chilli. I love cooking with chilli. I would put dried chilli flakes on everything that I ate if I could. She also asks, do you ever listen to audiobooks? If so, who are your favourite narrators? So I don't actually listen to audiobooks at all, really. I prefer to kind of read hard copy books. I think I would be too easily distracted with an audiobook and I wouldn't take it in as much. However, in terms of my favourite narrators, I have recently learned, I think, that Miriam Margolyes narrates or reads the Charles Dickens books on audiobook, and oh my god, I'm so excited to listen to those, but I want to read them all hard copy first. I know for certain that she reads the Bleak House book at least, so, and I absolutely adore Miriam Margolyes. She's hilarious. If you haven't seen any of her interviews on Graham Norton, do give them a watch. They're bloody brilliant. Yeah, love Miriam Margolyes, so I would say she's probably one of my favourite narrators, although I haven't listened to her reading the Charles Dickens books, but I definitely will do once I've read them all. Next question. So Margot asks, do you have a library card? I don't have a library card, and that's really bad. I know I should have a library card, and I know I should use the library because they're an incredibly valuable resource for local communities. However, my library is never open when I am available to go to it because of government cuts. So thanks for that. Margot also asks, what books did you cut your teeth on as a child or an adult? So the books I cut my teeth on as a child really were just books I had to read for school. I was not a big reader for pleasure when I was younger at all. However, when I was about 5 or 6 years old, actually throughout my entire life, I've been completely obsessed with the Tudors, and I had a load of non-fiction books on the Tudor era when I was very, very, very young, and I used to read those all the time. So yes, and as an adult, the books that I cut my teeth on, the book really that I started with, that got me into reading as an adult, was The Black Death by John Hatcher. So I've spoken about that book quite a lot on this channel already. It's a book which explores a certain village in Suffolk during the years of the Black Death, and it's so gripping and it's such an amazing read. So yeah, do check that one out if you're interested in that at all. Margot also asks, how did you meet Mark and how long have you been together? So I met Mark, when did we meet? We've been together for over 6 years now. So yeah, we met 6 years ago and we have been together ever since we met, really. I think our first date was in a pub, or several pubs. I don't drink now, but it was in several pubs in the fine garden city of Letchworth in Hertfordshire. And yeah, love at first sight. I mean, who couldn't fall in love with this at first sight, let's be honest. I'm incredibly attractive. Next question, G6497, I think that's how you pronounce it, said, what made you want to start a Booktube channel? So really what made me want to start a Booktube channel is I saw how much fun the booktubers that I love to watch were having doing it. People like Simon and Lauren and Katie. You could tell all of these people have such a great time doing Booktube and recording videos, having a chat about books, talking to people in the comments section, interacting with people, talking about the different books that they've read. And it just seemed like a really great thing to do. And I've been on Booktube about 6 months now and have loved every minute of it. It's been an amazing experience. So yeah, really glad I joined. Do I have a library or a bookish room? The answer to that is no, I don't. I have bookshelves in this room, which is our living room. So you can see here's some of my bookshelves, and I've got some bookshelves. Let me show you. Bye! I've got some bookshelves over there as well. And we're going to have this set up with the 2 alcoves and the fireplace. We're going to have that in the dining room as well. So I'm going to populate that with some more books as well. So yeah, I don't really have a library, unfortunately. We can't all be Simon Savage. They also ask, what is your favourite season for reading and what are your favourite Christmassy books? So my favourite season for reading, I like reading different things in different seasons, but really my favourite season for reading, let's be honest, is autumn, probably. It's very cosy. I love reading classics in autumn. Thankfully, Victober is in autumn, so I get to read loads of Victorian literature in October. So excited for Victober this year, aren't we all? So yeah, I love reading in autumn. And in terms of my favourite Christmassy books, I think I haven't read that many Christmassy books, but last year I read Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol and Other Christmas Writings, and it just got me so much in the mood for Christmas that, yeah, who couldn't get in the mood for Christmas reading Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol? It's the quintessential Christmas book. Mary Wilson asks, what are your favourite and least favourite film adaptations? I don't know really. I don't know in terms of my least favourite. Actually, no, I do know in terms of my least favourite. There's a very recent Jane Eyre adaptation, film adaptation, that was absolutely rubbish. It had Judi Dench in it as well. And whilst I love Judi Dench, that adaptation was horrific. It was just very poorly directed, and yeah, it was not good at all. I can't remember who was in it. I can't remember the name of the person in it, but yeah, that was rubbish. In terms of my favourite adaptations, I actually really like, so if you go onto Amazon Prime and type in Charles Dickens, you'll find these like weird 1960s or 1970s animated Charles Dickens adaptations, and they're so bad that they're brilliant. Like, that's why I love them, because they're so rubbish that they're actually really good, if that makes sense at all. So yeah, I really like those. Mary also asks, what is the funniest book you have read? So that is hands down Cunk on Everything by Philomena Cunk. So Philomena Cunk is a character, a hilarious character that does sort of spoof TV documentaries, and this is such a brilliant book. It is absolutely hilarious. It's kind of this character's take on everything, and it goes through the alphabet talking about different things that start with each letter and kind of what she thinks about them. So yeah, do give this a read. It's bloody hilarious. So Mary also asks, what is the saddest book that you've read? And I think for me, although it's not all sad, it made me, and it didn't make me feel sad, but I think there are very sad elements in it. And that is On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous by Ocean Vuong. So I've already spoken about this book on my channel. It's so good. It will be definitely on my list of favourite books this year. I won't spoil it too much, but there are some really sad parts to this book. Some really, not so much sad, but more kind of touching and moving parts to this book. So yeah, this one. So Mary also asks, are there any non-Booktube channels that you enjoy? Absolutely. So I really like watching a guy called Miles' channel over at Healthy Crazy Cool. He is, again, really, really funny, and he is a vegan nutritionist, and he does loads of kind of what I eat in a day recipe videos. His channel is all about abundance in food and eating a huge variety of rich nutritional foods. Again, he's a great advocate for kind of healthy, a healthy variety of foods and incorporating essential fats into your diet, which is really important. So yeah, I really, really like Mars's channel. I also love Naturally Stephanie. She is a Scottish YouTuber, kind of vegan fitness YouTuber. So she's really, really inspiring. Love her channel. I love the timeline history documentaries that you can find on YouTube. They are absolutely brilliant. So Steve Werman asks, what are your all-time favourite authors and book series? So I've recently come to a realisation about who my favourite author is. Dum, dum, dum! And I think for me, my favourite author is Charles Dickens. I absolutely love him. So yeah, I would say, and I think probably because he's an author that I've read a lot of, out of all of the books that I've got on my bookshelves, his name appears the most. So that's probably a part of it. And maybe as I explore other authors, I'll come to like those just as much. But yeah, I really love Charles Dickens. I really love Charles Dickens. I'm about to finish The Familiars by Stacey Halls this afternoon, which has been bloody brilliant, by the way. And I might pick up a Dickens. I might pick up Dombey and Son. Katie, if you're watching this, should I pick up Dombey and Son this afternoon? Should I? Steve also asks, what are your other interests outside of Booktube, and favourite places to visit and best holidays? So those two questions kind of tie in together. So in terms of my favourite interests outside of Booktube, really a huge interest of mine is animal rights. There's an animal rights march going on in London today. So hello to everyone if you've been to the animal rights march in London today. So animal rights advocacy is something I feel incredibly passionate about. That I can't think of my life without sort of some kind of animal rights advocacy in it. So yeah, that's one of the interests outside of Booktube. Also, I love history. So I'm obsessed with all kinds of different periods in history, but mainly kind of Tudor, Georgian, Victorian history. So yeah, I love watching history documentaries or visiting stately homes or museums or places of interest. I'm so excited because me and my friend Sophia have got a gorgeous Regency Day planned in London in the autumn. So we're going to go to London for the day. We're going to go to loads of museums. We're going to go for high tea at Fortnum and Mason or somewhere gorgeous like that. And we're just going to have a wonderful time looking at all of the gorgeous Georgian architecture and yeah, flouncing around being fabulous. So I really can't wait for that. Favorite places to visit and best holidays. So one of my favorite places to visit is New York. So I've been there twice. We went earlier this year. My favorite holiday that I've ever been on was Venice. So for my 30th birthday, I was very lucky because Mark took me to Italy. We went to Venice and it was just absolutely gorgeous. We went in January and it was freezing cold, but it was crystal clear blue sky. So it was really, really nice. And I thought we were just going to Venice, and then he surprised me by when we were there, whisking me off to Rome for a couple of days as well, which was equally as amazing. But the history there was just incredible. But yeah, Venice, I think, is my favourite place I've ever visited. Curious asks, how do you resolve paint colour differences? So this is paint colours in terms of, so we're renovating or redecorating our house at the moment. So how do we choose different paint, how do we resolve paint colour differences? So we've had this before. Mark wanted to paint this room a very dark green, and I, through a complete wobbly, kind of convinced him in the end that this Manor House grey colour would be the best colour for this room. We are discussing colours for the dining room at the moment. Mark wants to paint it French grey. I don't mind so much that, but I would prefer a lighter grey, maybe something like Dimps. But yes, ultimately, I have to understand that this isn't just my house, ridiculous, and I have to compromise, again, ridiculous, and let Mark have a say in what he wants sometimes, which is hard for me. It's very hard because I'm always right. So yeah, we just kind of talk it out, and really one of us will win and the other one will just have to deal with it. So yeah, that's my Q&A video. This has been an incredibly long video, so I'm very sorry you've had to sit all the way through it. I will be back later in the week with my August haul. So yes, that's something to look forward to. So until then, have a wonderful time and I will see you soon. Thanks very much. Bye.